Have you ever noticed how Kendrick Lamar mostly stays out of the drama, but when he does get involved, it's always kinda serious? Like he's not just throwing shade for no reason. It's always calculated, and it hits hard. Today we're breaking down some of Kendrick's biggest beefs. We'll start with the low-key but real tension between him and J. Cole, then get into the messier one with Drake, which honestly is one of the wildest rap beefs of all time. But here's the thing, most people only scratch the surface. Behind the music, behind the tweets, there's a whole full story of subtle shots, surprise diss tracks, and moments that had the whole rap game buzzing. Whether you're a Kendrick fan or a Drake stan, get ready, because this isn't just another rap feud breakdown, it's the real unfiltered story. Kendrick versus J. Cole beef. Alright, so before we get into the huge Kendrick vs. Drake saga, let's talk about the J. Cole beef. These two have had their own back and forth, and that's way more layered than most casual fans realize. The whole Big Three thing is a constant topic in hip-hop circles. Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake are seen as the three biggest players of their generation, but rivalries naturally spark when you're in the spotlight like that. The major beef started with a line from Kendrick's track Like That, which got people buzzing. Mother F the Big Three, it's just Big Me. That felt like a pretty clear dig, saying he didn't care about the competition or hype around the Big Three and was on a whole other level. Naturally, that didn't sit well with J. Cole or his fans. Fast forward to 2024 and J. Cole drops 7-Minute Drill on his Might Delete Later mixtape. This track was a direct response, packed with some of the most cutting bars aimed at Kendrick. What's interesting is that many thought this diss was toward Drake initially, but it was actually Cole calling Kendrick out. J. Cole's verse basically said Kendrick was all talk. He questioned Kendrick's place at the top and criticized his style and approach. Some fans thought it was harsh, others said Cole was just defending his legacy. But real talk though, the tension was already brewing beneath the surface. Both Kendrick and Cole have been compared endlessly, whether it's their storytelling style, fan bases, or how they handle fame. Cole's fan base is super loyal and protective, so whenever Kendrick throws shade, it hits hard. Likewise, Kendrick's supporters are quick to defend him, so it's a cycle that keeps spinning. After 7-Minute Drill, Cole actually issued an apology, saying some lines might have gone too far and that he didn't want to hurt Kendrick personally. But that apology split fans. Some saw it as a mature move, while others thought Cole was backpedaling because he felt the backlash. But honestly, this beef feels way more real than some of the bigger, flashier ones because it's layered with respect, rivalry, and a bit of personal history. Talking about the bigger Kendrick beefs, we have to address the elephant in the room, Kendrick versus Drake. For the record, this just might be the biggest, most intense, and most chaotic rap beef of our time. And no, this isn't your typical he said, she said back and forth. This one had everything. Betrayal, subliminal, straight-up threats, AI voices, lawsuits, and possibly the greatest diss track in rap history. And the wildest part? It all started over a single line on a song that wasn't even meant to cause problems. Or at least, that's what we thought. Remember that Big Three line where J. Cole called him, Kendrick, and Drake the Big Three of rap? Pretty harmless, right? Wrong. Kendrick clearly didn't like being grouped together like they were all on the same level. A few months later, in March 2024, Metro Boomin and Future dropped their joint album We Don't Trust You, and buried inside it was Like That, featuring a Kendrick verse that basically lit the match and burned everything down. In that verse, Kendrick came in like a nuke. F the Big Three, it's just Big Me. He called Drake and Cole's verses light packs, and said Drake was Michael Jackson, and he was Prince, and promised to put all their dogs in a pet cemetery. This was a brutal reference to Drake's album For All the Dogs, but also a threat to anyone in their circle. This was an assassination attempt, and boy, it exploded. Low-key, Metro and Future knew exactly what they were doing. Now remember, Metro Boomin used to work with Drake, producing most of What a Time to Be Alive, but that relationship crumbled years ago, and Metro unfollowed Drake on Instagram back in 2022. So having Kendrick sneak diss Drake on We Don't Trust You? Yeah, that felt very intentional, like a big middle finger from both of them. Drake responded like he always does, with confidence. He told fans at a Florida show, I got my head up high. Ain't nobody on this earth that could ever F with me. At first, J. Cole actually stepped in with a response too, dropping 7-Minute Drill, where he called Kendrick's recent music tragic and claimed Kendrick was past his prime. But almost immediately, Cole regretted it. At his Dreamville festival, he publicly apologized, calling the diss goofy and begged fans not to take it seriously. He literally said that he felt terrible. So just like that, Cole exited the beef. Some say Cole was scared, but those who know rap know that J. Cole is just as lethal with the pen as any of the other two. J. Cole has always been about emotional and spiritual alignment, so he had to back out. Rap beefs don't necessarily scream spiritual awakening now, do they? But Drake? Oh, Drake doubled down. He dropped push-ups, called Kendrick short, he's 5'4", mocked him for allegedly being controlled by labels, and said he only gets pop features because he's a safe, bankable bet. Drake even went as far as suggesting other artists like SZA, Travis Scott, and 21 Savage had already surpassed Kendrick. It was cocky and condescending, typical Drake. So at this point, everything had gotten out of hand. Rick Ross, who caught a stray in push-ups, jumped into the beef and absolutely roasted him with a track called Champagne Moments. Ross accused Drake of getting a nose job, fake abs, and jokingly called him BBL Drizzy. It got so wild that Drake's mom even texted him asking if the rumors were true. That was the moment everyone realized this beef had officially gone off the rails. Then Kanye West entered the picture. Sort of. There was confusion here, but let's set the record straight. Kanye didn't fully jump into Kendrick's corner, but he did remix Like That and took the opportunity to throw jabs at Drake's record deal and claim he couldn't remember a single Drake lyric. Was it a shot? Yes. Was he siding with Kendrick? Not officially. It was more like Kanye doing what Kanye does best, inserting himself into drama. Now, back to the main event. After that, Drake dropped Tailor Made Freestyle, a diss where he used AI to mimic the voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Yup, he had AI-generated versions of Kendrick's idols dissing him. That was wild, and the Tupac estate was not feeling it. They filed a complaint, and Drake had to pull the song down. Then Kendrick really snapped. He dropped Euphoria, a 6-minute diss track that felt less like a rap song and more like a personal letter full of pure venom. He called Drake a liar, a manipulator, fake, predictable. But above all else, he said, "I really, really don't like you." Kendrick made it sound like Drake's entire existence was offensive to him. Less than 3 days later, Kendrick followed up with 616 in LA, hinting that someone inside Drake's own camp was feeding Kendrick secrets. Drake couldn't let that go unanswered. On May 4th, he dropped Family Matters, one of his darkest tracks yet. He accused Kendrick of domestic violence and implied Kendrick's personal life was just as fake as his public persona. And Kendrick? He immediately clapped back with Meet the Grams. That track was so brutal, fans said it sounded like a eulogy for Drake's entire career. He rapped to Drake's mom, dad, and son. Yes, Adonis, airing out every dirty secret and failure he could think of. He accused Drake of gambling addictions, having a second hidden child, and even rapped directly to his kid like, "Sorry your dad's a fraud." Then came the final blow, Not Like Us. This song was nuclear. Kendrick accused Drake of predatory behavior, rapping, "I hear you like 'em young," and made a pun about A minor. It was bold, dangerous, and catchy as hell. That hook was an instant classic. Not Like Us became a club banger, a Twitter anthem, and a cultural moment. In just 3 days, it racked up 21 million streams and cemented itself as maybe the greatest diss track in hip-hop history. That momentum led to something historic. Kendrick headlined the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, performing Not Like Us in front of 100 million viewers. A diss track performed live on the biggest mainstream stage in America. That wasn't just a performance, that was a coronation. And then came the lawsuit. After the Super Bowl, Drake reportedly took legal action against Universal Music Group, the same label that distributes both artists, accusing them of promoting Not Like Us while doing little to support his own responses. According to multiple sources, Drake felt UMG had chosen sides, allowing a diss track that accused him of being a predator to be pushed on playlists, radio, and social media under their banner. He allegedly claimed this was damaging to his image, reputation, and career, and that the label had a responsibility to remain neutral. The outcome, though, was that Kendrick Lamar blew up even bigger. He already had the respect. Now he had the numbers, the moment, and the last word. Meanwhile, Drake's image took a hit, and his streams dipped. His London store got vandalized. His security guard was shot, though there's no clear link to the beef. And fans started asking, did Drake just take the biggest L in modern rap history? Maybe, but either way, this was more than a rap beef. It was a cultural earthquake. Kendrick didn't just diss Drake, he dismantled the empire. And just like that, the biggest rap beef of our generation might already be over with Kendrick walking away like Thanos after snapping. But hey, was this really the end? Or just the beginning of Drake's villain arc? Let me know in the comments, who really won this war? And if you're into rap drama, wild music moments, or you're just into celeb stories generally, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.